SpaceX is ramping it up for Starship Flight 12. What's the status of Ship 39? How's Booster 19 doing after the recent build frenzy? How many Starships does SpaceX have in its production pipeline, and what will happen on Flight 17? NASA can't close the Artemis Orion hatch, Jared Isaacman wants to accelerate NASA, and Rocket Lab has a Neutron Hippo launching soon. My name is Felix, welcome to What About It, let's dive right in. Starship updates. You know, sometimes I can't wait to record the next update even more than usual. Today was one of those days. Why? Because we're getting closer to Flight 12 and we might have a first sign of an HLS Starship, but more on that later. Our first stop today is Pad 1. The old Starship launch mount is gone now, and SpaceX has started the disassembly on the Deluge system as I reported a week ago. Now, they are all out digging holes. As mentioned previously, there is a lot of construction underground at Pad 1. When building the pad, SpaceX had to drive piles deep into the ground, and IFT-1 made it even worse. After that, SpaceX dumped even more rebar into the ground below the pad, and that's what they have to rip out again. This final step of demolishing the old pad will open the way for the construction of the new flame diverter in a very similar way to what we can see at Pad 2. SpaceX has already begun modifying the tower as well, so teams are working in parallel to get this job done. The old tank farm is in the process of becoming a concrete slab as well. My estimate? Likely around 6 to 8 months until we'll see another launch from here. Pad 2, on the other hand, is much further along. Deluge tests are progressing, likely in preparation for a Booster 19 static fire, possibly in early January. Booster 19, the second Block 3 booster, is racing toward this goal. SpaceX stated that it intends to have this booster stacked before the end of the year. This would leave them with roughly 4 weeks from start to finish. And by comparison, the previous record was almost exactly 3 months. And that was not a joke, they mean it. Well, on the last episode I told you that stacking of the LOX tank should now be finished and that the extra large Block 3 transfer tube and the LOX header tank were moved into the bay for stacking. This time I can report that the raceway assembly was transported in as well. This leaves SpaceX with 4 segments to be stacked. The aft or engine section, the forward section with the hot stage truss assembly, and 2 methane barrel sections. That's it. At this pace, I expect SpaceX to complete this right after Christmas. Next stop, Massey's for ambient temperature and cryogenic pressure testing. Fingers crossed that it works out this time. And one important piece of information can likely be derived from this. SpaceX didn't stop for a second during this stacking process. This might mean that whatever happened to Booster 18 had nothing to do with the actual design. If it was a COPV or just another part failing or just a freak accident, there is no need to revise the design, and that seems to be exactly what's happening here. Booster 19 will very likely be an exact copy of Booster 18. Maybe with some minor detail changes, but surely nothing major. Test Tank S39.1, built to validate the version 3 Starship thrust structure and tank construction, appears to be done with testing, at least for now. SpaceX crews are inspecting the inside. They are likely to continue testing it in the coming weeks. And then there is Ship 39. We just got another glimpse of it inside Megabay 2. The only change from last time? Some tiles are missing and there's writing on the insulation felt. This might be for test tiles, as the removal seems very deliberate with even spacing. Other than that, this ship should now be days away from a cryo-proof test. If this is correct, SpaceX is well on track for a launch window in late January or early February. The ship pipeline doesn't end there though. We have 9 Starships in the works right now that we know of. Starting with Ship 40, which is next in line. It has all its tiles and it's stacked onto the payload section. We have Ship 41, same situation as 40 with tiles installed, but the payload section is still missing. We also have Ship 42, tiles installed but no payload section and likely fewer interior components such as COPVs and plumbing installed. The list goes on with Ship 43 and so on, all the way to 48. That is almost double what SpaceX launched in 2025 in production at the same time. And right in the middle is Ship 44, and there is something strange about it. It was taken out of the production pipeline in August and has been sitting around unchanged since then. At least that's what we can see from the outside. Now, What could be the reason for this? The only one I can come up with, and I do want to emphasize that this is wildly speculative, is that this could be the HLS Starship. I mean, the first one. Hear me out on this one. First of all, SpaceX will need to start building it at some point. Secondly, SpaceX launched 2 Starships in 2023. Flight Test 1 on April 20th and Flight Test 2 on November 18th. In 2024, they launched 4 Starships across flights 3 to 6 from March to November. In 2025, we saw 5 launches from 7 to 11. So there's been a slight increase from 2 to 4 and then 5. For 2026, for now, I predict around 7 launches. With a lot of luck, maybe 10. Let's assume it's 7 launches to be on a safe side. That would result in a Starship launch roughly every 1.7 months. This would place Ship 44 and Flight 17 approximately 7 months from January, with a launch in July or August 2026. SpaceX needs to do HLS test flights in 2026 if Artemis 3 in 2027 is supposed to have any chance of actually happening that year. July to August would place Ship 44 in the second half of 2026, which sounds about right, and it was removed from the regular production pipeline in August, which would give SpaceX around a year to construct the first HLS Starship. A year should be enough for a first test candidate. The significant differences from a regular Starship are the absence of a heat shield and, of course, the crew compartment. And that's in the nose and in the payload segment below it. We've seen renders of it from SpaceX, and the Y team has turned it into animations a while ago. This is what they need to build, and if they want any chance of executing NASA's plan on time, they need to start now. We might see Ship 44 test everything from life support and structural integrity to long-term performance and fuel storage. All of these are critical tests, and they must be completed in 2026. And I do think they will. What's your thought? Will we see Ship 44 roll out of the Star Factory as the first HLS Starship? As always, give me your thoughts in the comments below. Now, how about I help you blow stuff up? Most of us won't own a rocket engine, but Fantic lets you feel that kind of power in your hand, and I'm not joking. Meet the B10 Pro Max, an air duster spinning up to 130,000 RPM, blasting dust at up to 18 meters per second. It's perfect for PCs, keyboards, consoles, cameras, Mars, basically anywhere dust hides. I mean, its compact size offers unmatched ergonomics. Using the versatile attachments, it easily adapts to your needs. The B10 Pro Max doubles as a power bank, so I always have a backup for my phone. It packs 2 4,000 milliampere batteries for a whopping 210 minutes of use. The air duster's smart display informs you of battery life, while the LED light comes in handy for seeing inside dark cases or keyboards. My favorite feature, the one-tap boost. It makes the B10 feel like a Raptor engine in your hand, and I'm not joking. You can even inflate an airbed or help start a campfire on your next trip. Best of all, Fantic is running a big holiday sale now, featuring both the B10 Pro Max and the B10 Pro, offering up to 56% off on Amazon. This smile is genuine, the thing is amazing. Alright, all cleaned up and pretty much amazed, on we go with the one blocker to faster Starship production at Starbase, the Gigabay. Needed to fit taller prototypes into construction bays and ramp up production speed, SpaceX is frantically working on this building with hundreds of workers. 4 massive construction cranes are working day and night. And I'd like to announce that column 4 has been reached. This is still slightly below half the height SpaceX is aiming for, but progress isn't measured solely by height. These parts here are for an elevator shaft. Various components are now being installed to complete the structure internally. Simply put, the structure is massive, and it's not even half the size yet. If you want to help us make even better content and fly more often in a helicopter, hit the subscribe button to stay informed. Like this video if it brought you value, and become a Y supporter for those extra heli flights. Be our fuel, chat with me and gain more insights on the topic you love. Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have Starship Pad 2. Starbase is getting ready for version 3, and this pad will support it from the start. Operation Operations are shifting here. After building this impressive launch pad over the last few months, SpaceX is now moving into testing and finalizing it. The chopsticks, the booster quick disconnect, the tower itself, and the ship quick disconnect arm. Everything here is receiving new components every day as if it was already Christmas. New deluge tests are happening almost every day as well. All in all, it's a good time to be a spaceflight fan. With all this happening, I'd like to revise my estimate of a possible Flight 12 launch date from mid-February to the end of January. Quick reminder, if you want to see how SpaceX is doing from the air with your own eyes, go to redlineheli.com/Felix. $25 off for anyone using the link. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same Starbase views our photographer gets on his Starbase flights. NASA's preparation for the Artemis II lunar mission encountered a minor setback. Houston, do we have a problem? A defect in the Orion spacecraft's thermal barrier prevented proper hatch closure. This problem has delayed a critical countdown demonstration test originally scheduled for November 19th. Hasn't happened yet. NASA described the issue as a blemish on the crew module thermal barrier. It was discovered during pre-test preparations and required immediate attention to ensure safe operations. Technicians swarmed to address the problem, and they were quick to find a solution. The repairs were completed the following day, allowing the closeout demonstration to proceed successfully. Okay, that's fast. While the issue was quickly resolved, it still delayed the planned countdown rehearsal. Mission Commander Reed Wiseman confirmed in a late November video that the rehearsal had been pushed into December. Why, if they fixed it the next day? NASA has not given a new date for the test yet. What we do know is that it will take place inside Kennedy Space Center's Vehicle Assembly Building rather than at the launch pad. During the test, the 4-person crew will wear pressure suits and board the Orion capsule named Integrity to simulate launch day procedures. This dress rehearsal test is part of the final preparations for humanity's first crewed lunar mission since 1972. Despite the delay, NASA maintains the mission remains on track for launch no later than April 2026. Some insiders even discussed the possibility of launching as early as February. And yes, that's in just 3 months. Following the countdown demonstration, final checkouts will wrap up the preparations before rolling the fully integrated SLS rocket and Orion spacecraft to Launch Complex 39B. Once there, wet dress rehearsal and final pre-launch checkouts will be performed. Flying to the moon is an incredible achievement, and we are finally ready to do it once more. But there are more problems to solve. For example, a critical cybersecurity vulnerability in NASA's spacecraft communication system remained undetected for 3 long years. At the heart of NASA's spacecraft communication systems lies an authentication software called CryptoLib. It protects spacecraft to ground communications. At least, it's designed to do so. Unfortunately, a serious flaw was discovered in CryptoLib. California-based cybersecurity startup Aisley's autonomous analyzer uncovered the issue. So it wasn't AI that saved the day. The flaw created a vulnerability in the authentication code, which could have allowed attackers to execute commands with full system privileges. That's scary. The vulnerability posed serious risks to NASA's missions. Aisley researchers noted the flaw threatened billions of dollars in space infrastructure. It potentially could have enabled hackers to seize control over missions, including Mars rovers. That's not cool. Granted, exploiting this vulnerability would have required attackers to first gain local system access, which lowers the immediate threat level. What makes this discovery particularly significant is the human oversight failure. The vulnerability survived multiple human code reviews over its 1,100-day lifespan. NASA responded swiftly once notified, patching the security hole within 4 days. Now let's get down, literally. Getting to distant worlds is difficult. There is no doubt about that. One particular challenge is ensuring safe touchdowns on challenging surfaces from the moon to Mars and beyond. NASA is advancing critical precision landing technologies through an intensive flight testing campaign. The agency's Space Technology Mission Directorate is pursuing a regular cadence of flight testing. This is done on various vehicles, and the results help to advance systems for future planetary missions. At the forefront is the Hazard Detection LiDAR, developed at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. This HDL scanning system generates 3-dimensional digital elevation maps in real time. To achieve this, it has to process approximately 15 million laser measurements and map 2 football fields worth of terrain in only 2 seconds. HCl was tested from a helicopter at Kennedy Space Center over a lunar-like test field with rocks and craters. Another component out to improve rough terrain landing capabilities is Draper's Terrain Relative Navigation technology. This system was already tested aboard Blue Origin's New Shepard in February. During this flight, it scanned the Earth below, positively identified landmarks, and calculated accurate navigation instructions. It performed within the expected parameters and proved valuable for landing on planets or moons. The San Diego State University also works to improve landing capabilities. Descent guidance algorithms power their contributions. These were tested on Astrobotic's Zodiac rocket-powered lander. They improved landing capabilities by expanding trajectory shaping flexibility and enhancing propellant efficiency. In other words, these algorithms accelerate the identification and assessment of terrain, enabling faster decisions and reducing fuel consumption. These technologies target scientifically valuable but hazardous locations, including Europa, the lunar South Pole, and Mars landing sites. Distant places, too far away for direct remote control. Our machines are alone out there, and systems that improve autonomous decision-making greatly enhance the chance of successful missions far from home. And now let's get up again, if you know what I mean. After Jared Isaacman received strong bipartisan support during the confirmation hearing on December 3rd, the process picked up pace. The committee reported favorably, allowing them to proceed to the next step: full Senate confirmation. Addressing him directly, committee chairman Senator Ted Cruz and ranking member Senator Maria Cantwell both expressed hope to get Jared Isaacman into his new position before the end of the year. That sounds like NASA is getting good news for Christmas. While Jared is on a good path toward becoming NASA administrator, reports about his strategic document, known as Project Athena, surfaced again. Project Athena is a 62-page plan of great importance. It was initially drafted in late 2024 and is labeled May 2025. The plan was recently leaked to multiple media outlets and outlines Isaacman's vision for his tenure as administrator. Project Athena centers on advancing American human space exploration. To achieve this, the document states that the Lunar program should be accelerated. A critical asset for achieving this and further accelerating the exploration of Moon and Mars is nuclear electric propulsion. And I do agree. The future administrator plans to ignite the space industry through commercial partnerships. He also proposes maximizing the International Space Station's utilization during its remaining operational period. We've gotten used to hearing Mars and thinking SpaceX. This is about to change. NASA wants a piece of this cake now. Project Athena proposes a Mars exploration program by the name of Olympus. It again hinges on an increased investment in nuclear electric propulsion. To achieve this, he suggests shifting the focus of those NASA centers working on the SLS rocket after SLS concludes. Let it conclude. The Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama and the Michoud Assembly Facility in Louisiana are two examples. The plan also includes an intriguing demonstration mission, docking a nuclear-powered spacecraft with a crewed vehicle in orbit. In general, many of the suggested projects adopt a philosophy that can be summarized as accelerate, fix, delete. Delete. Athena recommends that NASA adopt the commercial lunar payload service contract model across planetary science. This would shift preference toward multiple smaller, faster missions rather than single, expensive ones. During the congressional hearing on December 3rd, Isaacman was questioned about aspects of his vision for NASA. He defended his plan as directionally correct while acknowledging parts are now dated. He emphasized that NASA's immediate priority is the Moon, not Mars. He also denied intentions to gut science programs or close centers like the iconic JPL. Also, did you know you might be able to join Starfleet Academy soon?
Make it so, number one.
This is what Isaacman calls a proposed NASA commercial space industry training center. And who wouldn't want to mention Starfleet Academy as a place they studied at? I'd sure love that on my CV. Now let's talk about the ISS National Laboratory. This lab is a portion of the International Space Station that Congress designed for non-NASA research. It enables researchers from government agencies, academia, and private companies to conduct experiments in orbit. NASA has extended its cooperative agreement with CASIS, the Center for the Advancement of Science in Space, through 2030. CASIS has managed the ISS National Lab since 2011. The goal was to provide researchers with access to the station's unique microgravity environment. CASIS plays a vital role in the operation of the National Lab, controlling up to 50% of NASA's cargo mission flight allocation and 50% of US crew time dedicated to scientific research. This unique partnership has proven highly productive. More than 940 ISS National Lab-sponsored payloads have found their way to humanity's outpost. Among the research projects were studies on cancer and neurodegenerative diseases in space manufacturing and advanced materials. With the station's planned retirement in 2030, this extension is likely the final one. It ensures continuity for ongoing research projects. From one project that is nearing the end of its life cycle to one that is at the very beginning of its journey. Look at this thing. It is neither a very stubby giant bullet, nor is it the famous moon bullet from Georges Méliès' 1902 movie Voyage to the Moon, even though it really very much looks like it. In reality, it is one of the most famous modules of Rocket Lab's Neutron rocket, the Hungry Hippo, also known as the Neutron fairing section, and it's on its way to LC-3. The qualification and acceptance testing phase is over. Rocket Lab is confident that it is ready to join the rest of the first stage, creating the first fully integrated Neutron rocket. Unlike conventional rockets, which use disposable fairings or recover them at sea, Neutron does things differently. Its fairings open to release the second stage and payload before closing again. No, I think it looks more like that James Bond rocket from You Only Live Twice? This concept enables the entire first stage to return to Earth as a single reusable vehicle, offering a new approach to rapid reusability. The qualified fairing section is now en route to Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 3 at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport in Virginia. With the launch pad ready for action, we are rapidly approaching the inaugural flight. And this James Bond rocket is still slated for no earlier than the first quarter of 2026. Welcome back to the Y Countdown, your rapid-fire look behind the curtain at everything that keeps this channel blasting off. Today I want to address a pressing issue. I hear you, I read the comments, where are the bloopers? I missed the bloopers too. There is a rather sobering explanation for it. When I started Y, I had no clue what I was doing, so I made tons of funny mistakes. And it's been 6 years now, and in that time even a Muppet will learn how to record with fewer mistakes. La, 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 la. And since I didn't want to fake the bloopers, I mean, that makes no sense, I decided to drop them. Bye-bye. If you still want to see that side of me, it is always worth following me on X. That's where I make my mistakes now, in real time. Thanks for the support. When this community locks arms, nothing is out of reach. Thanks for being our rocket fuel. We're all in this mission together. Yay! And that's it for today. Smash the like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. Our brand new Raptor emblem design and countless others are there for you to explore. Click the card or the US or worldwide link in the description. We have a 25% off sale on orders over $50 starting tomorrow the 13th to the 17th. I think that's the largest sale we've ever done. Take a look, there's something for everyone, gift some Y. And if you want to know how SpaceX managed to build Raptor 3, the new Starship powerhouse, and what makes it special, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode.